good morning. We are using the big balls today, but we're just going to start with a big deep breath in. Exhale, bring it down, hands on your thighs, roll through cat, and inhale through cow. Move through your spine. We want to get a nice little warm up before we start leaping around with the balls. And then one more time, cow, and we'll lift it up. Inhale, exhale, gently bring it down. You're going to go ahead. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out, pull your abs in. Ball can be handy. You're not going to use it right away, but if it's floating away, you're just going to sit down in a little plie and stand up. Little plie and stand up. So just remember to keep that tailbone gliding down an imaginary wall rather than sticking back out. And then next time you go down, go ahead and pick up that ball and bring it straight in front of you. Try not to lean back. We have a tendency to do that. So keep your shoulders over your hips, and then we do that same up and down. If your booty sticks out a little bit, that's okay. Or if it goes backwards a little bit, no big deal. And then we'll bounce the ball and lift it up. And we'll bounce the ball and lift it up. And then we'll give it a little more of a bounce so that we can see if we can make ourselves move quickly with that ball. And don't forget, we're working those quads in the meanwhile. Don't bounce it on the edge of your mat. 2 more times. All right. And then we're just going to sit on top of that ball or in your chair or whatever. And we're going to roll through a cat. Legs wide, inhale through a cow. Rolling through your cat and inhaling through your cow. So moving through that spine. Again, getting lots of warmth through there. And then we'll come back to center. Keep those legs wide. When our legs are wide, we should feel like we have a better base of support. So this is what you want to do. If anything I do makes you feel tippy. If you wanted more challenge, you bring those feet together and you can feel it's a little less stable. Normally, we're going to be in that regular Pilates position, which means my knees are straight out from my hips and my ankles are underneath my knees. So keep all that in mind so that you are practicing safely, right? You're not going to fall off the ball. You feel unstable, you're going out here. All right, so feet are here. We'll just start a nice little bounce, just nice and easy. Start to feel your quads. Have to work the tiniest bit as you lift up off that ball. And try not to make it like a runaway horse, right? So try and lift through your spine, get a little bit of work through those quads. And maybe you can start to get some air, but maybe keep those hands down so you know where the ball is, because sometimes when you stand up, you push that ball away. We don't want that to happen. A couple more here. And relax, settle it back down, make that bounce a little smaller, stay tall through that spine. Okay. And then separate your feet. And we're going to inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. And we start bouncing again. And you can start to bring your feet in and out, la-di-da. And then if you want, you turn this into a bit of a jumping jack. Couple more. And settle it down. Back to that easy bounce. Tall spine, slowing it down and settling. Taking a moment, let that breath calm down, let that heart rate come down just a little bit. So keep all that in mind in terms of safety as we go into using our ball today. So I'll just turn sideways. And again, you can have wide feet or more narrow, totally up to you. Actually, don't know why I have that much there. All right. So I'm going to leave my feet, I'm going to straighten my legs out. I'm going to leave my feet where they are. I'm going to slowly roll down, but this, if you had a small ball, this is where you'd be lying down, but you'd be propped up halfway. So that ball would be at your low back. If you're on the big ball, Everything's still in parallel. Make sure that chin isn't forward, and here you are. You should feel your abs working already. Arms out to the side, they're gonna work a little more. We're just gonna lift and rotate. Again, you could do this with a small ball supporting at your low back. And then back to center, arms out in that T position. Let's roll back the tiniest bit. Pull the ribs and the hips together, come up the tiniest bit. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Little open, little close. Open, arms wide, lower the hands, exhale, come up. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Just a few more. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Last time. Inhale, open, exhale, close, and then go back to that original position. And now we're going to roll a little bit so that our head is off the ball, but our hips are still on. Support yourself by taking your fingertips to your skull, nod your head yes. And then on the inhale, allow that head to drop back up and over. So we've done this one before on the small ball. This is that negative to neutral. Exhale, flatten the ribs as you bring your forehead parallel. Inhale, up and over. Exhale to flatten. Up and over you go. Exhale, flatten. Option to lengthen out those arms. Cradle your head with your biceps. Create a longer lever, a little more challenge. Adding on, if you want, when you come up, you could squeeze your glutes and lift them a little bit. Up and over you go. Exhale, everything comes up. Up and over. Exhale up, couple more. And then support your head again. This time you're going to walk even further until the ball comes underneath your head. Now you can leave your arms here, or for a little extra balance, bring them out to the side. So now we're going to work those glutes. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're not sagging, you're lifted up. So this is a bridge, right? If you're not on the big ball. Legs could be wide, or for more challenge, you could walk those feet together, but notice that the hips droop, lift them back up again. And then if you want the next challenge, you bring your feet back out to parallel and try to lift a heel or a toe and a heel, or knee lift, or leg lift. And if you can do all of that, lift your leg up and try and draw a circle on the ceiling. Right, so a little extra balance on this ball. Leg up, give me a circle if you want. And just keep playing with that. Just make sure that you're alternating your leg, right? So maybe you lift a little, other leg, knee. If you can knee, then you try leg. If you can leg, you try your circle. Try and keep those hips up. And then we're gonna roll all the way back up. So we're sitting on top of that ball. And now we're just going to try a little balance here. So we're going to see if we could lift our feet off the ground, which is hard to do with your back in the way. And balance here on top of that ball. If you can do that with your feet off the ground, I'm not going to do this right now. You could try tuck and back. Tuck and back. With your feet off the ground, it might look like that. All right, and then again with your feet off the ground, you could try side to side. And then if you can do all that, you put it together so you're making a circle like a hula, but with your feet off the ground. And then we will settle. So that was our play time. You're gonna, however you can gracefully or not so gracefully or just carefully, safely come off the ball to a lying down position. Go ahead and do that for me, please. And we'll do a few more of our more traditional Pilates exercises. So you're lying down and you have hold of the ball. Chin is tucked, back of the neck is long. Set that ball on your abs for just a minute and notice if your ribs are the thing that's touching them. Exhale, pull the ribs down to remind yourself to keep those abs in. And then ball right above you, deep breath in, exhale, lift it up, both shoulders off the ground for ab prep. Arms go up overhead on the inhale. back to center on the exhale, and we come down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center and down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center and down. Option to lift up, bounce the ball, catch the ball, and come on back to center, right? So that's not really adding difficulty, but it's adding challenge, only if you want to. Keep that going for me. And then next time you come up, we're just gonna, or come down, you're gonna leave that ball there and bring the legs in tabletop. Put the ball on your kneecaps, deep breath in, exhale as you lift up, extend those legs, reach the ball overhead, and then tap the ball to the knees for double leg stretch. This is option one. Option two, you trade it off, right? So ball goes between your legs and then ball comes into your arms. Try not to do it by bringing your knees in like that. Try to do it by going up and handing that ball off. And then final option, if you want, keep your knees in tabletop, come up, roll the ball to your ankles, basically a teaser. You can even extend your legs if you want, back to tabletop, and then extend. Come up to the ball and to your knees, roll up, roll down. So I'd like you to do 4 more of whichever version you have chosen, please. And then put the feet on the ground, put the ball between your thighs, and just hold it in place. If you have a small ball, you probably won't need to hold it in place. And then squeeze the ball until you start to feel your inner thighs as well as your abs working. Release the squeeze, and then squeeze again. Release, squeeze, release, squeeze. 2 more, release and squeeze. Last time, release and squeeze as hard as you can, holding, feeling those inner thighs, those abs, maybe stuff starts shaking, and then relax for just a second, soles of the feet together, passive inner thigh stretch. And then bring those legs up. You're gonna put that ball back, but this time knees are in tabletop. We're going to squeeze that ball as hard as we can, ribs stay flat, toe touch exercise. Inhale as the legs move away, exhale to bring them back up. So you're trying to squeeze the ball as you lower and lift, and then give it a little break at the top. Or if that still feels like too much, just squeeze it in one direction and not the other. If you wanted to add the next level, you move that ball up to your ankles and you create that long lever. Then we're all going to take a quick break, soles of the feet together again. Arms could reach overhead, very passive opening position here. And then we'll come up, we're going to hand that ball off again to the ankles, but you can go back to the knees with bent knees if you prefer. We're going to start a little side to side movement. And then you can start to turn that side to side movement into a rotation at the end. So the opposite leg comes up and over. And then you can turn that into a circle if you want. If you circle, just make sure you reverse directions every time. Inhaling and exhaling. And again, you have 4 more of whichever version you're doing. And relax. Last time, passive inner thigh stretch. Arms can go overhead. Take a breath. And then we're going to put that ball down at our ankles. Turn ourselves into a tiny little ball. Try and exhale to roll. Inhale, pause at the top. And we're trying to keep ourselves from kicking that ball across the room. Next one, go ahead and sit up. Pull your glutes out from under you. Sit tall through your spine, knees can be bent, hands on top of that ball. Press down and see how that helps lift you up out of your hips. Press down to lift up out of your hips. And that might be all you do, right? If you want, you could hinge forward, but keep pressing down so you feel that elongation in the spine as you lengthen and reach. And then bring that up. We're going to come to a bent knee position, sitting down. Ball is out in front of us. We're going to exhale to simply hinge back for roll down. Inhale, come up. Lift at the top if you want, but lower it to move back again. And then if you want to add on, you hinge back and you lift at the back. You exhale to move with the ball low. You inhale at the top, ball high. Exhale to move back. Inhale, lift. Just a few more. Just an easy roll down. You could, if you had a small ball, you could have your low back supported there. And then we'll take a break. All right, we're going to sit mermaid for a second. So left leg in front, right leg out behind you. We're going to put that ball over to the right so you can put your hand on it. Left arm goes up. And then as you lift up, you're thinking not of draping over the ball, but of lifting up and over that ball. And then come back to center, lift the ball up, do the same thing, and back to center. Over and center, over and center. Lengthen through the spine as you reach and come back to center. Very simple there. Mermaid the other way. So right leg is in front, left leg is off to the side. Pull that glute out from under you. Have the ball there so you can sit tall and then hinge over. So again, I'm not trying to drop into my hips. I'm trying to stay lifted as I go. And then we'll grab that ball and we'll do the same thing. Move into the side and center. So here's the good news. This is easier than if I went the other way. So you're welcome. And we're not going to do that one, but you can test it if you want. Yeah. All right. All right, come on back. Okay, this is where we start our little series where we're going to be traveling across the floor that way. So I'm going to suggest that you roll your mat up a couple times, put it at one end where you have a lot of space out in front of you, and you also are going to have cushioning for your knees. So find all that. And then you're up in a thigh stretch position, but we're not doing thigh stretch, thankfully. Hands on top face of the ball, and then crouch. Crouch so that your elbows are almost touching your knees and your ball is very close to you. Then you're going to roll forward onto the fronts of your thighs, and then you're going to start to slide that ball out. So you come up in a thigh plank, but in a balanced position. Make sure your hips are tucked, your abs are in, and then pull back as you pike it back. So we're going to send it out and pike it back. So we've done this with the small ball, with the ball underneath your ankles. So you pike or plank it out, and then you are able to pike it by pulling that those toes to the ball. Last time, you're going to plank it out. Try and go as far as you can. Tuck the hips, lengthen the arms, reach, reach, reach. And then give yourself support to flop over that ball. That should help you round out that low back. That should feel pretty good. While you're there, you're going to move your feet to the outsides of your mat and straighten them so the ball comes right underneath you. So we're going to do extension here. If you're down on your mat, just regular extension. I'm going to use my hands to help support a lift through my thoracic area. For a little more challenge, I'm going to come up onto spider fingers. And if I want to, I'm going to work that low back by bringing my hands down by my side. Shoulders roll open. and then support yourself again. Put your left hand on the ground, reach your right arm up, and bring that down. Left arm up, and bring it down. Right arm up, left leg lifts. Oh, bird dog. Left arm lifts, right leg reaches. And now let's go back to right arm, left leg, and see if you can hold this here. Little extra balance here, and bring it down. And then left arm up, right leg up, hold the balance, and bring that down. All right, now we're gonna walk forward enough that your hips are the highest point of your body. So now we're gonna work the same area that we just worked of our low back, but in what we call reverse hyperextension. So my legs are together and I lift and lower. Head is lower than the ball. 2 more. Good. Feet on the ground. Look down at your hands and try and get only about 2 inches between your thumbs, so arms are very close together. And then make sure that you have enough space between the front of the ball and the back of your hand, and then lift your toes. If that caused your ball to roll forward, walk your hands a little bit. We're going to bend the elbows backwards in basically a Pilates push-up. Bending and straightening. As my torso goes down, my legs come up equally. You can make this more challenging by walking your hands further and dragging that ball further underneath you, so you have more of your body weight coming forward. Just because the floor is near your face, don't plant your face on it, please. And then pause, and you're in a high plank position. So in this high plank, go through your checkpoints, head in line with your spine, shoulders are broad. You can even walk those hands out a little bit now. Pull the abs in, tuck the hips under, and make sure the legs aren't droopy, they are engaged. You can stay here, or for more challenge, once again, we're gonna put more of the upper body over. So I rolled that ball down to the thigh knee area. You can stay there, or you can walk it so that ball comes underneath your shins. You can stay there, or you can walk it so that ball comes underneath your ankles. Press that floor away, be strong in this plank, head in line with your spine, shoulders broad, abs in, tailbone tucked, back of the neck is long, thighs are lifted. And then you get to flop again. Woo. Whenever you're ready. All right, and then we're going to do another play time in this position. We did that bird dog earlier, so this is always going to be your option: 1 arm, 1 leg, and then maybe try both legs, maybe try both arms, and then, yep, you know what's coming. Arms and legs. Basically, you have to figure out how much body weight is over the front of the ball and how much is behind it. It's like a fulcrum. And then 1 more flop. And then we're going to keep that mat folded because we're going to sit on the floor, but with the mat just behind you. So you can touch it. Ball is out on the floor, but when you roll down, you end up with your hips on the mat, but the ball is on the floor. Let's go ahead and straighten out the legs, and that should feel very delightful. All right, I'm going to reverse the order today just to be annoying, or maybe it'll be nicer. Press your hands into the ground and lift your hips up. This is a bridge. Once again, more stable is legs apart. We're going to roll the ball in and feel our hamstrings, hips stay lifted, extend out, and pull back. So hamstring work here. If you want, you make it more challenging by doing 1 leg in the air, the other leg pulls back. Let's try 6 of those. And then if you did single leg, you do the other one. And then both legs on, we're all coming down for just 4, 3, 2, and 1. We all come back up, roll it in. So your feet are on the ball, even if it's a small ball, hips are lifted, you're in a bridge. And then we'll work those glutes by dropping the hips, lift the hips, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Halfway. And relax. Oh, stretch those legs out. Roll the ball over to the left with the left leg under it and hug that right knee in. That should feel pretty good to start with. Get some movement through that leg and go the other way. And then cross that leg as you bring the left thigh back to center over that left thigh. And then bend the left knee to bring it closer. And then last thing I'd like you to do is slide the foot further across so your knee ends up over your hip instead of off to the side. Pull the ankle toward you and notice if your whole body twisted, try and even that back up. And then ball rolls out underneath your right leg. Left knee comes in. Give it some movement if that would feel good. And then roll everything back to center as you cross your ankle over, thread your needle. And then slide the left foot a little further, push the knee away, pull the ankle towards you. Try not to twist your hips too much. And then relax back out to that first position, because now we have the other series. So this will be a series of bridges. Bridge 1, hips lift up with straight legs. The closer I bring my feet, the more challenging it is. Or hip distance apart, or all the way. Or try no hands. Or try one leg off and it just lifts and lowers 3 times. Next option is to roll the ball to you so that your feet come on the face of the ball. Once again, wider, no hands, more close together, or one leg lifts and lowers 3 times, but keep the hips up. Final option, roll that ball all the way in so that the only thing on the ball are your heels. Woo, your hamstrings almost touching. Stay here, or try no hands, or one leg up and down 3 times, whatever you want. We'll stay here for a few more seconds, feet together, and relax. Woo! All right, once again, left leg rolls off to the left. This time right knee is bent and on the ground. Let it passively open and then reach down and hug it in. Move through that ankle. Reach down with your right hand, pull the toes back, flex the heel down, or excuse me, the knee down, and then stretch that out onto the ball. Move it to the right, left leg, just relax it on the ground. And then hug it in, pull it in, reach down, left hand, pulls those left toes back, press it down. And then roll all that back to center, roll the ball in, take a little rock side to side, loosen up your low back. And then we're gonna come up. You could unravel your mat or you can leave it folded, totally up to you guys. Okay. So we're gonna be on our knees and the ball is to your right hip. Lean into it. And then take your left leg on top, right leg behind, straighten out those legs. My bottom hand is still on the ball, and I can use that to help me come up in an oblique movement. I can point that top hand, I can come up fingertips, I can lift my bottom arm. I can bring my arms into a V. And then finally, I'm gonna try and put this bottom hand on the shoulder, finger points up, I'm gonna poke a hole in the ceiling for 8, And relax. Arm comes up and over. Woo, relax over that wall. Feel that nice stretch. And gently bring that down. Let's do that on the other side, please. So once again, you're on your knees and that ball is over to the left hip. Lean against it. Right leg on top, left leg behind. And then again, we'll work our way up. Lift that arm if you want. Come up onto fingertips if you like. No hands if you want. Arm out if you want. And then whatever you want to do with this bottom hand or on your shoulder, finger above you, poke a hole in the ceiling. And relax up and over. All right, we're going back to the first side. Ball is over to your right again. Lean onto it, but this time your hand gets to support you because your legs are going to be narrow in a straight line. And then that top leg lifts. So sideline leg series, sorta, if you're on the ground. And you could do small circles in one direction and reverse those small circles. And then slightly bigger circles in the first direction and other direction. And then big old circles. This is where it throws off your balance. Woo. And reverse. Should be outer hip stuff going on. And relax. Bend that top leg, bring it in front of you. Give some love to that hip. And we'll do the other side. So here we go, up and over that ball. Hand is supporting you. Legs are straight, so sideline leg series otherwise. And then lift that top leg, try and get it at hip height and do some small circles. And reverse. Slightly bigger circles. And reverse. And then bigger circles, biggest ones. Feel that balance challenge. And reverse. And relax, bend that knee. Woo, bring it in on top. All right, then we're going to spin back through center, let the ball come underneath us. And we're going to roll forward until our heels are very close to our hamstrings. And we could actually just rest the head back, arms open for a little stretch. Or come on top of the ball, arms open, beautiful stretch for that chest. I'm only going to do this demo for a second. You could come up and over, let your head drop. If that's too much cervical tension, or if you get vertigo, don't do that. And then wherever you are, you're going to mosey your way back to a seated position on top of that ball. All right, sitting nice and tall. We're going to do a little stretch here. Since you're on the ball and you're only going to be on one foot, you're going to press into that ball. Let's cross the right ankle up over the left. If you find yourself rounding, that's where you want to press into the ball. Open that leg, and then if you're able, you can push the ball back to give yourself a tall hinge, a long tall hinge. Sit back up. If you want to cross that leg over, this is a little more challenging, and press into a little bit of a twist here. Then you'll untangle, and we'll go left leg across, push into the ball to sit tall. So this is just a thread the needle stretch. Can be seated or not. Hinge. And then if you want, you cross all the way over for a twist. And back to center. Feet are going to go nice and wide. We're gonna inhale, open up in that cow, let the ball move underneath us, round back in that cat. So moving forward and back, rolling on that ball. And then feet on the ground, we're gonna do that side to side movement that we did earlier. Feet on the ground, forward, back. And then feet on the ground, circle. And then you're gonna reverse directions. And then we're gonna try a little something here. Try and push your left hip back, right hip forward, and then the other way. Like you're walking, kinda. Woohoo! Couple more here. And relax. All right. Shoulders roll. We're gonna start a gentle bounce. In a moment, I'm gonna count down from 4, and on that, when we get to 1, we're gonna try to stand up. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. That was a quick and dirty big ball day. Thank you guys.